growing up, I didn't really get a lot of time in actual production. That would be a big learning curve. I had to really learn the process of screen printing, and it's not just something you can learn in a few weeks. And my, main printer, Bobby, has been working for us for over 20 years, and that's the biggest thing he says is you think you've learned it all and you haven't. There's always that one thing that once a week you're learning something. So
hey y'all, it's Taylor with Local BK. Welcome to a new episode of In Good Company. We are about to have a conversation with Madison Baker of California Tees, a little print shop over on 16th and University. You've probably seen it for decades, and we're excited to go behind the scenes, hearing the story of how her dad started it, how Maddie got involved, and what you can expect from them moving forward. So tune in, enjoy the show. Howdy, Maddie.
hey, how are you?
Doing well.
This car is nice.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Audi dealership before?
I have never been to the Audi dealership.
Well, welcome. So it's part of the Camder Auto family. They're the sponsors for our podcast called In Good Company.
Cool. I'm
So
excited.
thanks for being my company.
Yeah, for sure.
So, fun thing about learning about all these new cars, there's all these buttons,
Lots of buttons. And they're all really discreet too.
aren't they?
Okay, what do they got over here?
So, what does a normal day in the life look like for you?
Ooh, wow. Okay, so
If there is such a thing.
there's pretty normal. I mean, to a point. Most days are the same. Not really, but wake up, kids. So pretty much, 7 to 9:30 for me is kids getting ready out the door, morning routine stuff. So I kind of block my calendar for 7:30 to 9 or 7 to 9:30, and that's children. And then trying to get to work by about 9:30 or 10 is realistic. And I do all my hardest things in the morning. So a lot of emails, that's the stuff I don't like as much, a lot of admin. And then I lunch for about an hour, got to make myself do that. And then work in the afternoon, and I try to be done by about 4. I've noticed if I can be done by 4, pick up whatever said children, or go home and kind of honestly start dinner at 4 o'clock. It makes the day very good. So
It's run so much smoother.
so much smoother, and not starting dinner right after work whenever the kids are hungry, and then by the time you're done with dinner it's bedtime and you're like, wow, I just saw them for 2 hours. So yeah, but no, my days have changed drastically in the past 6 months with the newer baby. But no, I have to really be organized and focus, and I only now can take meetings certain days of the week. So structuring my life has been a little bit more helpful, but still trying to figure that out. That's kind of my 2026 situation.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Something you're talking about already is the amount of structure and organization you have to provide for yourself. But a lot of people consider what you do creative work.
Yeah, for sure.
So is it hard juggling both brains?
Yes, it's very hard. You can do both things, but not well at both. And so a lot of my creative side has to take a back seat just to run a business. This year, my goal was to structure my life where it was really my calendar is so aggressive, but whenever that goes off, 10 minutes before, it's okay, nope, we pivot, go elsewhere, do your other thing. But I wanted to focus on that, one of my really key accounts. And then I really wanted to focus on my retail, which is the creative side of the business. But it's really hard for me to go back and forth. The brain of retail versus running the business and stuff is not, it's hard. For sure.
Well, I'm going to use that as a segue.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about California Tees. What is it? How'd you get involved? How to get started?
Yeah. So California Tees is a custom screen printing, embroidery shop, just a custom apparel shop, I guess you could say. And my dad started the business 50 years ago this year. So we're celebrating 50 years this year, which is crazy. I know. And we do, just standard t-shirts would be the most basic thing we do, but I feel like we're a creative solution in the apparel world. We service a lot of people on a local level. So it's a lot of folks that can just walk in and get help. I think what we do to us is really straightforward and we understand it, but it's a lot of jargon that people don't know. And I think people look at something and want to make it into their own, but don't know where to start. And so being able to physically come to the shop is super helpful. But our world is like what I think is just no big deal. 7-color t-shirt design.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. So really just taking people's ideas and bringing them to life is what we do every day.
How fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
And then tell us a little bit more about the early days.
Yeah. So Steve started it in 1976. He was inspired by a trip to California.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I even asked him about it this morning when I was dropping off my son at his house. I was like, okay, so like, what's the heart and soul of this? Like, why did you do it? And he just wanted to, no matter what, work for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He came from his dad working for himself. His mom had her own business, as well as my mom. Like her dad owned his own business. So a lot of entrepreneurial spirits going on. But he wanted to have something that he could show up and do every day that he really had fun doing. And just really never dreaded going to work. Of course, there's stuff like, that you don't love. And when sales are low, you're kind of like, wow, I hate this. Why am I doing it? But 90% of the time you can really go in and have like a lot of fun being there and enjoying what you do. That's what he said. He's like, my advice for young people is just to like what you do every single day.
I love that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of days where you just won't. So
was he always in that one location?
So he had a smaller just storefront for maybe a year on 19th Street. And I don't even think that building exists. It might have been like really near McDonald's.
Okay.
But he had some family that owned the strip of commercial property where we are. And so him and his brother went in on the property we're still at today. And California Tees was the front half, and then the plant company was the back half.
Okay.
And in time, I think they both grew and needed more production space. And so his brother Robin moved out, and dad expanded to the back of the building.
Love it.
Yeah.
And if I remember you telling the story, it used to be a car wash.
Used to be a car wash. Yeah, you can tell still if you walk in. Used to be a car wash that his family member owned, and I can actually think now. Can you imagine a car wash there now?
Oh, not at
It'd
all.
be the biggest disaster. But yeah, so he really started the business by doing like heat transfers. When you go to California or like a beach town and they're like, hey, I want that on this shirt or whatever, you pick it out.
Print it right in front of you.
Yeah, right in front of you, print it on site, people could see it. And then just started getting a lot of ask for custom work. And so he had to learn how to screen print. And someone that, I always forget what company it was, that owned a printing company, like more a paper, had a manual press and taught him how to do it. And so it became that it's gone up and down with a bunch of different things, but still the main heart of it is custom screen printing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Did your dad have an art background?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
No, I think not necessarily artistic, but he has really good style. And I would say he's got an eye. Like I would say him and I kind of are similar in that way. Like we probably both can't draw and like do any type of like, I'm not really good at Illustrator or hand drawing anything, but we both have like a good style and a good eye for something. You'll see him today, like he's 80 years old and he's wearing kind of like an outfit like you have on. Like he dresses like really, really well still.
Love it. I was about to say, I probably need to take notes from him.
Yeah, no, he looks really cool all the time. So the business also keeps you young. It's that type of business. So
love it. And then
yeah.
What was it like growing up in the business?
Growing up in the business, it was good. I mean, I don't think I even knew how cool it was or could have been until I was about 15 when I started working there for real. My church did, I think, like a match program to go on a mission trip. They were like, if you make X at whatever, then someone at the church will match what you make at your job and pay to go to Belize, I believe. So me and my friend Julia started doing that. And that's whenever, I think having her with me there too made me realize how this place could be cool. But no, I grew up there. Like if I was sick, I was at work with my parents. Like
you didn't get to rot at home watching TV?
I didn't have a lot of babysitters. I did have grandparents locally, but I was really with my parents all the time. And now I bring my daughter to work and I'm like, wow, that's literally crazy that you brought me here because I can't keep her occupied. But they would give me a lot of busy work and I'd space hangers and do stuff like that. But both my parents were in the business. And so you're with your mom all the time. And so you do what they do. But I don't know. I feel like I wish I could remember more. Do you ever feel like that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I remember some
The
stuff.
funny glimpses of like, oh, I remember that from first grade or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
I don't have a lot of those. I don't know. I think I have brain fog now with the kids, but
Babies will do that.
yeah, babies have done that for sure. But no, growing up in it was really fun. I mean, we always were the ones doing the t-shirts for my school activities. If you're, you're the t-shirt girl, like just what you are. Like I've been t-shirt chair for every organization I've been in, like every year, just how it is. But no, I don't know. It just was really second nature. Didn't even think much of it.
Well, and with that, was there ever a chance for you not to do this?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I did not want anything to do with Lubbock, Texas. Stayed here for college and just thought I was too cool, needed to get out afterwards. And I went to college I wanted to be an event planner. So I did the restaurant hotel track, and I love the restaurant hotel world, hospitality. I think it's just like one of the coolest industries ever. And I moved to North Carolina after college with Chris, and he had a golf course job. And I just was like, I'll take whatever job. I was stuffing mailers at US Foods as a temp. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I got a job at the Omni, and worked there for about 1 month. And I was like, I actually hate this so much. And something I've learned about myself, it's either I'm all in or I'm all out, And I can't fake it. I think a lot of people would just do it to like make their resume better and like stick it out. And that just,
What helped you realize that though?
oh my gosh, just standing there was horrible. It was front desk.
Oh,
And
okay.
so the Omni is a cool hotel, and like they'd have some cool people come in and out of it. But I saw the guy that ran the events at the hotel, and he was about 50 something years old. And I thought to myself, I cannot wait that long to do this. I'm 22, so like, what do I know? But you're super eager when you're young. And so I got a job. I used my sorority connections, like alumni, and I got a job at a catering company, and really just like admin of it, and then worked my way up and ran the weddings side of their business, and then did some of the corporate events. And then I went to work for a competitor, which was crazy. I know, it was crazy. It was like the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever had to do. But it was for the best, and it was the best
stir the pot a little
decision.
bit?
It stirred the pot for sure. Luckily, I mean, I still, keep in touch with my first boss. She was a great mentor, but she wasn't scaling, and I needed to learn something new. And so I got a job doing the corporate events for another catering company. And it was just like my favorite job, almost my favorite job I've had, probably.
Because the way you've described it, it was a pretty big operation.
Yeah, it was a huge operation. My budget alone was about $4 million a year to hit. And so we would do huge corporate events. Charlotte had like tons of corporate headquarters, banking headquarters and stuff. And so corporate budgets are super fun, especially back then. And it's just like, hey, like we have XYZ to spend. And yeah, it's a catering company, but the caterer does so much. They lean on you to do, food, beverage, plus rentals, plus decor, plus this. And so it was much more than just like, hey, what kind of like buffet do you want? So it was a creative job, but I also was very heavily sales focused and had very aggressive goals. And it was a big sales culture. And that taught me a lot overall.
I believe it.
Yeah. So I learned pretty much everything not everything, but at least on the sales and marketing side of life, that's where I learned all that.
And then eventually you landed back here.
And then I came back here. Well, I asked my dad about that. I was like, did you call me? And he's like, no, you called me. I think, I don't know, there's like a point where maybe we were trying to figure out if we wanted to live there longer or renew our lease. And we were like, okay, like we're 20, I don't even know how old I was, 27, 28. Want to buy a house, that'd be cool. And you're looking in like Charlotte, North Carolina, and the condo apartment that's like 800 square feet is like, at the time, almost 10 years ago, like 200 or 300, $400,000. And you're like, well, that seems expensive. Then you start looking at the Lubbock Trulia, and you're like, okay,
that 300,000 goes a long way
I can
here.
get a big old house. Yeah, so that sparked an interest, and it really was like a, hey, do this, or like you're just going to keep living there because eventually you guys are going to want to have kids. We were later to the game, I guess, maybe. But once your friends start having kids and like that happens, you're like, wait, I want to do that, but I do not want to do that this far away. And I think my parents too in 2018 were kind of I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what happened in 2018. I feel like the internet was just changing the world more, you know, and like keeping up with the modern day stuff. My parents were just like, we're getting too old for this. So yeah, if you want to come run it, you're going to have to come back soon, or we might sell this place, because people are constantly coming by and being like, hey, we'd like to offer you whatever money for this property.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that would be enticing when my dad's like 70 something. He's like, I'm like, it keeps me young, but I'm tired of being responsible. So moved back in 2019 and started the journey to take it over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's been nonstop ever since.
Yeah, it's been nonstop. Minus like, I don't know, we stopped in COVID, so that was a stop, a
I have
halt,
to ask,
if you will.
how did you navigate it?
It was horrible. I remember just March. Oh, I don't even know, probably like March 13th or something. Kind of like hey, cash flow literally just stopped. Events stop, which means t-shirts stop. People can't come to your store. And
so that's how dependent y'all were on other activities happening in the community.
For sure. So community activities, events, tech shuts down, going online, all the things. And so we literally just came to a halt. We made payroll. I'm so glad that I had a small team at that point. Like today would be a much harder situation, but we had a very small team. Obviously anyone part-time we had to let go. That was more so just our college kids, and they went home anyway. And so it was scary. I remember having those conversations with like my dad and my grandfather, like, okay, do we need to get people involved? Like, what are we going to do? And then luckily there was some good government programs for payroll within Texas and, federally. And then the big, not bill, what was it called? The big loan they put out.
Is it the idle one?
I don't know, but they did a huge loan for small businesses to get by. And that actually helped us invest, like get a good rate for some capital and invest in some stuff. So that was great. That was through the Small Business Administration, I believe. And we really did well. And then I ended up having one of my customers just happen to secure a deal with Texas Tech that needed to be a good sponsor. And so I had to fill all these orders in 2020. And so that grew. And so my sales actually didn't decline. They grew in that year, which I couldn't be more thankful for, because that's always a kind of moment where Chris, like him and I always go back and forth about, like, I'd love to work at California Teas. That seems great. I think you and I could probably like double the operation, if not more. But whenever you have those moments, like seeing the pandemic, and that would be both of our income, it's kind of like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
So
all your eggs in one basket.
All your eggs in one basket. So we do enjoy his job for lots of other things. But no, 2020 was crazy. But after that, after the world recovered, it's been up from there. I mean, I don't know. I always wonder, like local economy, it drives us a lot. But overall, it's good. I don't know though. We push a lot, and every year we've just been able to grow so much because there's a lot to grow. You take a business that's been run 40 years one way, you come in and do something different. There's positive results typically. So
I was going to ask, what were some of the changes you implemented?
Yeah,
what were some of the challenges you had?
Challenges every day, and the biggest change was, this is crazy because it was 2019. I'm like, is that right? 2019? Yeah. I took them from a handwritten invoice to a system that we still use today. And I asked my dad today if there was much resistance with it. And he was like, yeah, I mean, he basically was just like, I'm not going to learn it. Like I'm good. Like,
I'll pass you my paper invoice for you to input it.
Yes, for sure. And that's how it was. Like my dad, whenever I started back, he was kind of at the head seat. And I was just like at this like makeshift desk that like made myself room on my little laptop. Because there wasn't even like a computer there for me, like everyone that had a computer had one. There wasn't just extra computers or like working space. I don't know. And that was May. So about 2-3 months in, I was like, we've got to, like, this is crazy. And I was just worried because I remember growing up in college or working there in college and getting like the sales tax incorrect and having to like do it on a calculator and it being wrong. And my dad being like, angry. He's like, you can't do that. He's like, take
There's
your
some
time.
consequences for that.
He's like, slow down and take your time. And I'm not that person, or I wasn't then. I've gotten better as I get older.
Now your software tells you and probably does it for you, maybe.
I know. We trust, we're millennials. We trust software.
Probably way too much.
Way too much. We probably trust AI way too much. But that alone just pushed the sales. You can sell so much more, if you just give people a quote and you can do it fast. You don't have to handwrite it, scan it, fax it. It's crazy.
Do you still have a fax machine?
No, I got rid of it actually. Like, that was something, and I don't know. My dad said that there was some resistance with what I wanted to do, but I don't remember it. I mean, him and I definitely had some like disagreements, and he's always telling me my whole life to be more patient and, don't get in such a hurry. Everything will come. It'll happen.
Is that just his personality?
I think.
Did he have to learn it?
No, he had to learn it. Him and I are the exact same. So he's just like seeing a younger version of himself, probably. But with age comes more patience because you have no choice. You can't do it all at one time. That's what I've learned.
So what's the family dynamic been like? He's still involved to some degree? To
some degree. So, when I started working there, my mom worked there, and that was a pretty fast something I wanted to not have. I just wanted to be able to have like a mom as a mom, and knowing that dad would phase out, but he'd have to be there longer. And she really needed to do her own thing. Like, she married my dad and went straight working into the business. And so she went back to college when I went back to college. And got her degree. Her and I graduated on the same day.
How cool.
And hadn't really done anything with her degree yet. And so when I came back, I think she felt like she could go do something. And so she got her real estate license and really just like kind of like flourished and was like, peace out. She likes to tell people I fired her, but it was for the best. And now she can be my mom. And it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to see people you're really close with every single day and work with them. But the phase out was really like gradual, but he's pretty phased out now.
Because it was this year that you kind of finalized things?
Yeah, was this year the official year? Or no, I think last year was the first year. Yeah, that I would be majority owner at least.
That was what, a 5-year timeline?
Yeah, pretty much. And I ran it and made a lot of the executive decisions. He definitely was more advising for a long time. Now he does advise a little bit. Maybe sometimes I like want him to advise more. And he's just like, well, no, it's your thing. So I don't know. He's kind of just more of I like to call him the on the payroll babysitter, He used to be an errand boy. Now he doesn't do as much of that anymore, but
work provided retirement plan.
Yes, pretty much. And so he watches the kids, and I don't know. He's having way more fun doing that than
living his best life.
For sure.
Good. So with that, how's it been for you taking on the new responsibilities?
It's been crazy. I feel like I have no time. I think I'm like, man, should I have done this before I had kids? Because I feel like I really could have done it. But I don't know. I have to be kind of patient with myself and give myself like a day to day, do the best you can, especially in this time of life. That's one thing I always like tell my dad, probably when I get more frustrated and like stressed about something is, he was a dad and he was a great parent, but he wasn't the mom. And moms have a lot of responsibility. And so doing that and running a business is just very hard. So I'm still adjusting to it all and will be probably for a while.
So what have you learned through that experience?
Probably my time management. If I'm like at work, I really have to like get it done. Like there's no time to mess around. There's no time in general. So I think once my youngest one will sleep through the night, I can redo my schedule to be able to wake up even earlier and get a lot of stuff done. Like I do that if he sleeps through the night occasionally. And if I can just do that, it might just be like 1 hour, but like,
oh, that'd be a game changer.
It's a game changer. I'll occasionally do like a Sunday afternoon. When the kids take a nap, I'll go to like the store and work for like 2 hours. And if I can do that, it sets my week up for like fire.
Oh, uninterrupted work.
So I really have to prioritize like just everything in a different way and like lower your expectations, like be reasonable. Yes, you want to grow. Yes, you want to do this, but you also have, it's just baby steps constantly. So, But yeah, kids will do that to you. They make you have to rethink everything and work better, work smarter.
Has that been a hard thing of, in a sense, you're sacrificing growth by prioritizing family?
Yeah.
Of that tug of war.
Yes, every day in my head. Because I like working, and it's probably been good though, because I can set some boundaries. But you do feel bad. Like, have you seen that video? It's like small business owners like are like texting like they're in a toxic relationship, and they like pan to them and they're just like so deep in something. Like whenever like issues come up, or like even a customer just like being upset with something, it might be 7 p.m., but I'm like, I want to address this right now because it's like my business and I care and stuff. But I also don't want to be the mom that's on the phone, when your kids are home. So it's a lot of that. But I don't know. I just have to give myself like a bunch of grace all the time. I'm like, okay, this is just like such a season of small kids, and like no matter what in life, like they're way more important than my business ever could be. But
knowing the rules of the game, and you're defining it.
Yeah, knowing the rules of the game and just trying to do your best. But then you also like, you have other people's livelihoods you're responsible for as well. And so you think of, them and their family, like they're half the income, of their family, and they work for me. So it's my responsibility too. So it's hard to balance for sure.
Well, if it's all right with you, we're actually coming close on the exit. Mind if we go a couple more?
Sure.
Love it.
If I can have a drink.
Go for it. Got to stay hydrated. So with that, you were leading into your team.
Yeah.
What does the company look like now, and future part, where are you headed?
What do we look like now? So I have about 8 to 9 employees, some part-time. I feel like we're in a pretty sweet spot right now with my employees. I've had everyone that's worked there, with the exception of some, part-time tech girls, have been there at least 2 to 3 years.
Is that uncommon for the industry?
No, I just think I had trouble in the beginning getting like the right groove, the right people hired. That was a huge learning curve for me, was hiring. And it still is like my least favorite, hiring and firing. It's like not the skill set that I necessarily have. I understand why there's outsourced HR and staffing companies. But one thing we did about 3 years ago is have someone come in, because I knew we were growing, but I was like, okay, I don't have any like industry formal training outside of growing up. Let's get some. So we brought some guys in, and they kind of evaluated the business, and they're much more on a production side of screen printing, and kind of said, hey, these are your holes. These are positions that you need that are going to make you much more efficient and make you able to grow.
Yeah.
So taking jobs. So the biggest job that we brought on that we just weren't focusing on, because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of the dirtiest job back there, is cleaning screens and burning screens. And that was just kind of a part-time college kid role I had for someone to come in and do, and kind of like learned that's probably one of the most important jobs that we have, is setting these screens up to be printed. So we made a formal job of like a screen tech. We raised the salary of it, and we got like a really good techie guy that does it, and that was like step one in getting everything nailed in and dialed in. So growing up, I didn't really get a lot of time in actual production. It was a little segregated, boys versus girls, it seemed. The girls were always up front doing the cleaner work, but that would be a big learning curve. I had to really learn the process of screen printing, and it's not just something you like can learn in a few weeks. So, and we still learn every day. I mean, my, main printer, Bobby, has been working for us for over 20 years, and that's the biggest thing he says is like, you think you've learned it all and you haven't. And like, you just, one day we can order 5,000 different brands of t-shirts. So one shirt's going to be a different print than the other, and like, I don't know, there's a lot of consistencies, and there's a lot of processes you can do to make the outcome 9 times out of 10, but there's always that one thing that once a week we're learning something. So
well, and imagine for a role like that, being around 20 years, you have to be a constant learner.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of change. Like, we threw so much change at Bobby. It's amazing that he's like still there and happy. But he's just a company guy, and that's what I learned too with hiring, is that they have to be company people. And they've, they've got to like be proud to work there and like want to work there. And I feel pretty genuine about everyone that works there, like wants to move the needle forward. And I don't know, it's a good vibe.
What is the culture? What is the vibe?
It's really fun. It's fun. It's chaotic. Sometimes we call it like, I don't know, it's like arts and crafts. Like it's like, it's just something new. Like today we're trying to apply a PVC patch to a sweatshirt. We haven't done that in maybe 2 years. So it's like, I don't actually remember how to do it. It's not working, And so it's always arts and crafts, trying to like figure something custom out for the one-offs and stuff like that. But it's fun. I mean, it's definitely like high expectations as far as like production and efficiency and quality.
Yeah.
And so I kind of run more so the sales side of it all. And my girls, I'm like, your job affects everyone here, like if you're not selling, then we're not working. So you have to know the ecosystem of the company. Those guys in the back, if they see you lollygagging around, they're wondering why do I get to leave early today? Oh, I have less hours because we're not selling. So trying to teach the team too, like offload my responsibility in my head. I'm like, yeah, like you work here, but you chose to work at a small business, and there's a lot of responsibility that goes into that.
Wear a couple extra hats usually.
Yes, for sure, extra hats. We have in the past few years, though, there's a lot less of that, which is good. Like people are more specialized. Because I think it's a good, like, you can be 60% specialized or maybe 70% specialized, 30%
cross street.
Kind of just got to cross train it and figure it out when you're in a small business. I'd love if we all kept to our roles, but I think that'd be pretty boring as well. And it causes people to not be involved in other sides of it too, and kind of being like, well, that's not my job, and that doesn't work for us. So
gotta be a team player.
Yeah, so really good team. Kind of don't want to hire for a long time. Feel like I'm good for a while.
So you've been growing year over year.
Yep.
You've got a team where you need it to be. So what's next?
I have no idea. I don't know. I think we're still in a growth, new side of business type thing. Like, we took on the promo world of things last year really hard. And I think we could double that this year because it's still so new. And I'm sure there's some like things I have goals to do, but I don't know. I kind of just want to like work in the business this year and just be in it. I'm not pregnant this year. Being a, that is just the biggest part. It's like, hey, it's a different year because whenever you're like super pregnant all year, you can only do so much. So I'm kind of looking forward to being back in the business. Both kids are going to be in a full-time child care situation come fall. So I'm really excited to like be there and work in it. Like I actually like going in to work every single day and being there and like working with my team and working with customers. I have to hide sometimes because I love working with customers. But if I did that all day, I would get nothing important done. But I genuinely, I literally love like when people come in and they like have a problem or like they don't know how to do what they want to do, and like we're the people that know it. Like especially me, I'm like I can definitely get this done for you, and make it really good. So I think that's part of like the event planning execution mind I have. I'm like, okay, you have this logo that's horrible quality. We can make it into something, and we can make it into something that maybe you can sell. Like, So in my ideal world, I'd run the business. I'd get to help customers when they come in to a point. You don't want me too involved in that stuff because I'm surefire the one that's going to be like, oh yeah, we can totally do that. And my team's like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, are you sure? And then work on
like the reel that's been going around of we'll get it done somehow, and then pointing to the somehow.
Oh yeah, and I'm not the somehow anymore. Sometimes I get involved in stuff and I'm like, never mind guys, like y'all figure this out. Like it's not going to help anyone if I'm responsible for this. But I don't know. I'd like to kind of just continue in the direction we're going. But I don't know. I think the opportunity is just so vast. And I've said that since the beginning. It's kind of hard to know where to hone in on because everyone could use t-shirts, like genuinely.
Everyone wears them.
Everyone wears them. Everyone needs them. And we can print for the masses or we can have our little niche too, Like, yeah, I'd love a good, roofing company order with 200 t-shirts that just say like crew or something. But I also love a super custom, like let's put a placement everywhere and match every custom Pantone here and there. So the future would just be me working in the business and like figuring it out more for a little bit.
And then since it's a 2-generation family business, how has the industry changed?
Well, kind of what we were talking about earlier. I think there's a lot of people that don't print for themselves anymore. And I think back in the day, that might have been a factor for customers. Oh, you don't do your production in-house. Oh, I don't like that, you know? Nowadays, I don't think people care as much. And they want the deliverable. They want that. They're like, I don't care how it gets done, but I just want it done type thing. And so like I've heard a bunch of companies starting as more of like a sales company that sells screen printed t-shirts versus trying to learn screen printing, which back in the day, it would basically start in your garage. You're like, oh, I want to print t-shirts because my friend's in a band. I'm in a band. I'm on a baseball team. These t-shirts are too expensive. I'm getting quoted. I can't afford anything. Let me just learn how to do it real fast. And so a lot of garage printers did that and scaled it up and got good at printing because they had to learn how to manually print. I mean, that's a huge thing that's changed is screen printing started by hand and now it's pretty automated into machine. We still do not as much as we did in the beginning when I came back, the manual printing. It's pretty much all automated to our auto machine, but we take our live press out and still kind of show the art of what it is because it is art. It is a craft. I think people forget that, especially whenever your t-shirt just says crew, you know, just like, hey, it's neon yellow crew shirt. That doesn't look hard. I think people compare it to printing something out like on a printer, you know?
If you can get a printer to work, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually harder. I'd rather manually print t-shirts than work with any printer from the computer.
Right.
Like there's never a time where my printer works. But that's a whole other story.
But the on-site printing, I feel like that's letting y'all branch into the whole events, experience, brand activation side of things.
So kind of one of the advices I received from the company that came in and just evaluated what we were doing was like, hey, you're at a college town. You should probably do this. And no one's doing it locally. Still no one's really doing it. There's like maybe one other just, you know, single dude that does it. And so that's just been fun. It's kind of like scratched the itch of my event planning. And it's been really good just because there is budget out there for people to bring in experiences. And we haven't even really probably exploited it as much as I'd like to, but we have it nailed down really well. And so we can be hired within a week or two, come out, print t-shirts. It's a whole experience. So that's been a really cool part. But yeah, the industry's changed. It's been so automated and it was such a craft and much more of an artistic thing in the beginning. And it's different now for sure. I mean, you get both, but it's just changed. And like I told you, like if you're not good at printing, people aren't printing. They're just outsourcing it because it is a headache and it takes a lot of labor to hone it in. And there's tons of automations that they've created for it. But at the end of the day, it's still, you know, a process, but everything's changed. It's constantly changed, constantly behind.
Is there anything you're excited about in upcoming changes?
I would really like in the next year to buy a larger embroidery machine. That is something that wasn't a priority, obviously, being a screen printing company. And we run a pretty small operation, or at least a small amount of machines for what we probably output. So that would be like one of my big goals for probably this year is to acquire a handful of customers that could support that.
Okay.
Really needing some hat customers. Either ag customer, oil. We'll take an oil customer. They love hats. So that's something I'd like to do. Because that's a whole side of the business that could grow and it just hasn't. It's a little stepchildish, but I try to I try to remember it. It's just hard.
Well, from there, I mean, naturally as an owner, you're going to focus on the things you love and enjoy. And so have to give it the whole entity.
I know. In the things I understand more, but I don't know. It's really hard to operate a screen printing company and not offer embroidery, you know? So
do customers expect it at this point?
Yeah, they expect everything. And we want to. We want to sell them everything we can.
Be the one-stop shop?
Yeah, one-stop shop to a point. I will say, you know, there's a lot of stuff I'm like, okay, business cards. Like we for sure can design those and order those for you. But there are some experts down the street that could do that better than we could. But try to be as one-stop shop in a reasonable fashion. There's some stuff that it's just not our lane, so we can't do it. And if you do, if you do stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing, you learn your lesson because you're like, that was a lot harder. And they should work with the experts on that. But
well, we are almost done, so I'm going to do a quick fire round with you if you're ready.
Yeah, let me pop my neck. Okay, fire round.
Favorite place to go eat, you and Chris?
On a date night, we like La Serena. Just a casual, take the kids. We like take care of Outlawn. So fast.
Favorite place to do happy hour?
Probably Good Line.
Okay.
For sure.
What's your order?
Floating in Space.
Love it. What are your favorite things about Lubbock?
I love how easy it is to live here. It is just the easiest place. I like knowing almost everyone that lives here, which I don't, but I like familiar. Yeah, I like familiar faces. I really like that it's growing. I think it's fun to live here right now. Watching some growth, especially since we've moved back, and leaving and coming back. It's just the perspective is so different.
And I'm sure you've seen more people coming back too.
Yeah, more people, more friends, more family wanting to move back. It's an affordable place to live, which these days it's much more appreciated than we knew. But now I like it. It's just easy. People say it's like, this is one thing I don't agree with. They're like, it's, live here and travel more. I'm like, it's actually really hard and inconvenient to travel from here. So I never understood that.
Gotta go to Dallas or Houston.
It's like, okay, you can save your money by living here so you can travel more, but I think it's actually like harder to do that. But now, what about Lubbock for you? Is it because it's easy? And family. Let's get that.
Support
family and friends. Yeah.
And then what is something you think Lubbock is missing?
A bagel shop.
I've had that one in my head for days.
And even like a really good sandwich shop.
Okay.
That's just me wanting to eat. Hungry for lunch. I don't know, like a million restaurants that kids could play at. Like we go to Hilton Head every year in South Carolina, and it is a destination for families. But every single one of their restaurants or breweries has a playground. And it's just like the best. I don't know. So I would say like that kind of stuff for kids. I mean, it's missing quite a bit of stuff, but
building out the family entertainment space.
Yeah, family entertainment space would be such a big, huge investment. I think things are hard though. Lubbock seems really saturated with restaurants and things like that. And so I think unless you're like going all in and doing it really well and gonna really hustle it, it would be hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's like my main thing I think about, at least in this phase of life, Oh,
completely the same. Me and all my friend groups were talking about, man, I wish there was a place we could have nachos, a margarita, and a playground.
Yeah, Chimmy's with a playground would be really nice. But no, like, I don't know. It's just strange. There's not a lot of places to be able to go and take your kids and hang out for a while.
Love those ideas.
Yeah.
So we are wrapping up. How do people learn more about you, stay in touch?
Okay, so Instagram, California_TS, I believe. shopcaliforniatees.com. And we're on 16th and University, so you can always drop by and see our store. We're out and about at events kind of all the time. So yeah, follow us on the Instagram though. That'll be the best. We have a great weekly newsletter. That's been my favorite thing in the past year.
I've been getting that, yeah.
Yeah, a good weekly newsletter with real ideas, real stuff that like hopefully is helpful to customers. But yeah, maybe just come see us on University if you're local.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. That was fun.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was fun. Super fun.
Thanks for letting me do a couple more exits. I didn't think the conversation was quite done. So.
No, you're good. Whatever you need, I'll do it.
Love it. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all in the next episode.